So you only have 7 to 14 days to study for your upcoming SAT.
What's his name? What's his name? I got nothing on a name. Come on, baby, what's the name?
Don't panic. You can make meaningful progress if you study even in that short amount of time. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to maximize your progress and your points in the last 1 to 2 weeks before your test. Whether you've barely started or you just need that final push to get to your goal score, I've got you covered. Hi guys, I'm Laura Whitmore, founder of Strategic Test Prep. I'm an SAT prep coach with over 18 years experience. I scored a 1590 on the digital SAT. And I have coached hundreds of students to maximize their scores on the SAT, even in the final weeks. First, before we get into all my tips today, I wanted to let you guys know that we are giving away our English workbook for free right now if you head to our website. So I'm going to link up here to strategictestprep.com. Just subscribe to our newsletter and we will email you a copy. All right, step 1, I want you to diagnose quickly. So whether you've already taken an official SAT and can use that official score report, or you haven't taken any tests yet, you need to get a baseline. So if you haven't taken a test yet, I want you to download the bluebook practice app. It's made by College Board and has official practice tests in there. And take a test so that you can see where your starting score is and you can see roughly what your strengths and weaknesses are. Now, College Board score report is less than stellar. They give you some very general categories and then they tell you you miss a certain amount of bars in that category. That's not very helpful. So once you've taken a bluebook practice test, you can plug your answers into our test tracker analysis tool so that we can show you on a more granular level exactly where you're missing points so you know what topics you need to cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link below in our description to our test tracker analysis tool so you can go ahead and grab that. And I'll also link to a video that explains how to use it. Okay, real quick, guys, have you taken any bluebook practice tests yet? Comment below and let me know how many tests you've taken, what tests you've taken, and how you're scoring so far. I hate to say it, but you want to adjust down by about 50 points to get an estimate of what you will score on the real test, because the real tests are a lot tougher than the blue books. At least that's what students say. And I noticed that scores trend downward from the blue book practice to an official SAT. So if you scored a 1400 on a practice test, that means you're likely to get around a 1350 on the real thing. All right, step 2, I want you to focus on high yield areas first. With so little time to prep, if you only have 1 to 2 weeks, trying to concentrate on everything is going to be biting off more than you can chew, and it's going to cause a lot of anxiety and stress. So for the English side of things, 70% of the English modules are made up of the following types of questions: standard English conventions, that's your grammar; expressions of ideas, that's your transitions and your rhetorical analysis, aka note-taking questions; and vocabulary, aka words in context. So what I would recommend you do is make sure that you know that 70% inside and out. Practice those question categories and don't stress the reading passages as much. Now, you can actually get these types of questions in College Board's question bank. Just Google College Board question bank and filter down to the specific question categories as well as the difficulty levels you want, and you can go to town. All right, on the math side of things, 75% of the math modules are comprised of algebra and advanced math. So algebra is like the linear stuff. So anything dealing with lines. Advanced math deals with other functions that have a curve to them. For instance, like a quadratic or like a cubed function. So make sure you know those two categories inside and out Problem solving and data analysis has a lot less questions, and so does geometry. So you're going to maximize your study time if you focus on algebra and advanced math. So basically, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is spending your time mulling over tricky geometry questions or sifting through really dense reading passages is not going to help you move the needle as much as maximizing these categories that occur the most on the test. You might be thinking, but Laura, I need over 1,500. Well, if that's you, then you might need to focus on those other categories. So take a look at your test tracker analysis tool and see where you're missing points specifically, and then adjust accordingly. Now, I know I just ran through some percentages talking about what occurs the most on the English and the math. Speaking of percentages, only 18% of you guys that watch this channel regularly subscribed last month. Subscribing to our channel really helps support us as we continue to grow and put out the best content possible for you. So if you appreciate what I'm doing here and I've helped you in any way get better on the SAT, please do me a favor and show this channel some support and hit the subscribe button below today. It's not going to cost you anything, and it would mean so much to me if you did that. All right, guys, step 3, have a daily practice plan ready to go. Let me lay out a great daily practice plan for you for the last 2 weeks. Okay, day 1 to 2, I want you to take a Blue Book practice test and review your mistakes deeply. Days 3 through 10, I want you to spend 2 to 3 hours a day doing targeted practices and times drills. So for example, in the morning, you could do 20 to 25 English questions. In the afternoon, do 15 to 20 math questions. And in the evening, review your mistakes thoroughly. Make sure when you review your mistakes, you keep a journal of misses so that you can revisit those questions later and ensure that you can get them right on a second attempt. Because if you don't learn from your mistakes, history is bound to repeat itself, and then you'll end up getting the same score. All right, somewhere in that range of days 3 through 10, I want you to take another Blue Book practice test to assess your progress. So ideally, you should take 3 practice tests within that 2-week span, 1 to see your starting point, 1 to assess your progress, and then the final days, the last 1 to 2 days, take 1 more to see where you're at when all is said and done. College Board released some data recently that showed that students who take 3 practice tests before the real thing actually increase their score by 80 points on average. So it's super important that you do 3 practice tests so you can work on your timing and continue to drill down on where you need to make changes. All right, step number 4, I want you to master strategies, not just content. So this close to the test, strategies matter way more than just cramming content. Some strategies to lock in on are elimination. So there are certain questions where you can eliminate 2 answers because they mean the same exact thing or they do the same exact thing. Also, on the English side, when you're on a reading passage, I want you to try to look for 3 wrong answers and eliminate them to get to the right answer. Pacing. I want you to definitely use time management skills and skip any questions that are going to take you too long and come back to them later. Nobody said you need to go in order on this test. Another reading strategy, if you see an answer choice with an ly word in it, it's probably not right, cross it off. For some reason, when the SAT uses adverbs of degree in their answer choices, for instance, the words like significantly or minimally, that usually makes an answer choice wrong. So if you're pressed for time and you're struggling to understand the reading passage, just eliminate the ly words in the answers. All right, Desmos. So the best strategy for math is knowing the ins and outs of Desmos. It helps save time and mitigate careless mistakes. What I would recommend is you watch my recent Desmos video to learn how to do regressions in particular. I will go ahead and link it up here so you can go watch that. All right, practicing these strategies is going to give you increased confidence on test day. If you want to learn more strategies, we have 2 awesome self-paced courses that run through everything we teach our students. So I will basically link up here. You can use the promo code 50 off at checkout if you're buying a single course. Otherwise, if you purchase the bundle, you get $100 off. So the courses are a great option if you're planning to take another test after the test you're prepping for the final 1 to 2 weeks. However, we have had students sign up for our self-paced courses in the final 1 to 2 weeks and just pick and choose their areas of weakness from the modules. All right, step number 5, and this goes into detail about what you should do in the last 1 to 2 days. I want you for the last practice test you do to simulate the real testing conditions as much as possible. So what's cool is there's actually YouTube videos out there that you can search for that have test taking sounds like background noise. So I would recommend you pull up a YouTube video that has test taking background noise. Like you're going to hear people coughing in the room. You're going to hear all sorts of stuff, papers rustling. So play that in the background. Make sure that you're in a space without a lot of distractions. And make sure you take the test in one sitting. So don't get up, get a snack, don't pause the test. Literally take it like you're going to take it on test day. Have scrap paper handy. Just have everything like the real testing conditions so that you can really do a dry run before your test. All right, step 6, the night before, stop cramming. There's no point staying up late and cramming concepts last minute. It's actually going to hurt you more than help you because then your brain is going to be tired and you will not be at peak optimum levels cognitively on test day. So just do some light studying, review some of your mistakes, review some strategies, and call it a day. What I would recommend too is you can always look over our math cheat sheet. So I will link that down in the description just to remind yourself of the math concepts you need to know on the test. But guys, please don't do any late night cramming. Also, to reduce anxiety, make sure you get everything ready the night before because you do have to get up early. So get your device charged, make sure your calculator is charged, make sure you have pens or pencils, have your outfit laid out. The more you get prepared the night before, the smoother your morning is going to be and the more calm and peaceful going into the test. All right, guys, remember in 1 to 2 weeks, you can make progress if you focus on the right things and you're efficient in your attack. However, I do have to say, I do not typically recommend cramming in the last 1 to 2 weeks. I see that students who start 2 to 3 months before the test and prep consistently typically get the best results. So just remember, it's actually a marathon, not a sprint, but sometimes we have to sprint. We don't have a choice. So this is what I would do if you were my student, and this is what I would recommend to you. All right, guys, so that's it for this video. If you found it helpful, show me some love, hit the like button below. Don't forget to grab our self-paced courses if you want to learn more about the strategies and approaches to get ready for your test. I will link it up here again. And until next time, guys, happy prepping.